Back. Welcome back. We're back. We
Hello.
we missed last week. Hey everyone. Yeah, really glad to be here. Today we're going to be kind of twisting it a little bit. We're not going to just talk all about news and YouTube news and social media news. We're going to talk specifically about remote work and wrangled in a few of our friends here that are all 100% remote apparently, I think. So, yeah, we'll jump into it. I got a couple, articles and things like that we can. Oh, getting some feedback here. One sec. To start the conversation, but before we do that, intros real quick. We'll go top left, ladies first, and then clockwise. How about that? Let's do that. Who you are, what you do, and how long you've been working remotely. How about that?
Hi, everyone. Kelly Noble Mirabella. I do a lot. Most notably, I am a chat marketing expert and a content repurposing ninja. Yeah,
Wow.
you can still say that as long as you don't put it on LinkedIn. It's fine. I have owned my own business for 11 years. And so I don't know if it's considered working remotely when it's your business, but I have worked in my home office for those 11 years. So a long time. And I got kids and, husbands running around this morning. So you might get the full aspect of working remotely.
The full experience.
You said husband.
I think, yeah.
You are busy.
Yeah.
It's what I do.
It's what I do. I think you can put ninja like at the end of anything and it sounds like a professional thing nowadays.
I thought the trend died, but now I feel like it's okay to bring it back a little bit. Just keep it off LinkedIn. We're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And I stay off LinkedIn too, so it's totally fine.
There you go. You're all set. Ash, you're up.
Yeah, no, my name's Ash. I'm a content marketing coach. I specialize in mostly personal branding and things like that. And I am a podcaster as well. So I have a podcast called Content Marketing 101 and Content Marketing Crusaders, so 2 shows. In regards to kind of like remote working, I've always done it. As a coach, I've done it. And then before that, I was actually a financial advisor and was remote across the entire country. So kind of know a lot about this. It'd be weird to have an office, to be fair.
There you go. All right, David, all the way from Sweden.
Right. Yeah, so my name is David. I'm a freelancing content creator and been freelancing for 2 years. Before that, I worked, I think it was 4 years as an employee. Been doing both filming and editing, but now I'm focusing mostly on editing, I would say.
Nice.
And create tutorials and have some live episodes and tech reviews on my YouTube channel. So
nice.
Yes.
There you go. We've been moving around too. Awesome. Dan.
Is this Zoom? Are we on Zoom?
You're on Zoom. Yeah.
I'm kidding. My name's Dan Holloway. I am a business coach and mentor, mainly helping creative entrepreneurs to start, grow, and scale their businesses. That's what I do. Nice and easy, nice and simple.
Easy. There you go. Awesome. We'll skip me and we'll go over to Kevin.
Hey, I'm Kevin, a video coach, content creator. I've been working remotely, I guess, 3-ish years when I was a creative director in television for a long time remote when they said, hey, we don't need you anymore. We're going to cut your job. And I'm like, okay. So I've been working at home, started my own business. I help people get into video and use video for however they want to use it, build courses or start a business or whatever. And my office studio is a renovated bedroom. Hard to sleep in, but cool to work in.
Yeah, there you go. I have this is a den in our condo. So you make it work. Some people, who has backdrops here? I think Kelly, I don't know what room you're in, but I've seen a wide shot and it's like a backdrop, right?
Yeah, it's a backdrop. Everyone thinks it's a green screen. It's legit a backdrop.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I'm in the second largest bedroom in the house, and I kicked my husband. His office was in here too. I kicked him out. I was like, "You don't work from home.
Yeah,
it's my studio now."
Nice.
I'm actually on the International Space Station. I just have this back here as a virtual background to kind of look,
Nice.
more
All right.
normal.
More normal.
That explains the lights.
Exactly.
I'll start floating at some point.
Exactly. Very cool. Well, again, this is all about remote work. There's a huge topic, but we'll try and dig into it a little bit here. If you guys are in the chat or watching the replay, let us know if you guys are working remotely, 100% or partially. There's a lot of, I know you guys work with other, like with corporate brands and stuff. So I'd love to hear what you guys are hearing out there. Here at TubeBuddy where I work, I've always been remote. Even before the pandemic, there is no office here in Vancouver. So it's remote. So that was like, preparing, like we prepared this room to be an office studio. So that's the thing. I'm kind of thinking now of maybe getting one of those, like, hot desking once or twice a week at a WeWork, and kind of get out of the house a couple times a week. But would love to hear what you guys are seeing out there as far as like, as things are transitioning. Are you guys considering anything like that to get out of the house or do the coffee shop thing? Some of you guys are recording a lot. Ash, I don't know if you can bring all your gear to a coffee shop, but yeah, what are you guys thinking?
I think I am. So I'm doing my live streams in the morning. So do every day for my podcast. But then I think I'm going to try, because we literally open up in the UK as of next week properly. I think I'm going to try and go to a coffee shop once or twice a week just to get the admin tasks done, just to get out of the house and see people. And also, I've got a young baby, so to get away from that would be quite nice from the screaming point of view. So I probably will, because otherwise you just get locked in a room by yourself all the time. It's a bit lonely. As you all know from our conversations, then, that if you don't have Dan's all ribbing me for this, going, I need this live stream because I've got no human connection.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Who else considering outside of the house?
I'm like a bona fide introvert. I leave me alone in my room for the day, and I am thrilled with life. I do not do well when I go co-working, mostly because the internet is not strong enough for me. I have top-notch internet at home, and you can't beat the coffee. So why go anywhere else? Like, here we are.
Yeah, that's a good point.
True. Yeah.
I think I mainly be for meetings.
Yeah. I mean, I don't miss. I miss the people I worked with and my old team and things like that. And I was a Fox station. I miss all the free swag they used to send us. But I'm working in my space. But I think I miss more than anything. So, and I'm as things are opening up here at least I'm in North Carolina in the States, that the coffee shops kind of like Ash is doing. I getting out some, just just change the environment. I think it's healthy, but I don't see going into like a co-working space for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's more productive. I feel anyway. I'm more productive at home for sure. It's just a change of pace, if anything. So yeah, no, it'll be interesting. We'll see. A lot of corporate world jobs are not going back to the office. I feel like we had a conversation with Holly Lee yesterday. She's another content creator. She works with a lot of people that are trying to get into like working at Amazon. She's in that space, like a career coach. And even working before at Thinkific, they had an office here locally, and all the tech companies here, like Hootsuite, like all the local tech companies, Slack and stuff, they're like trying to fight for workers. And the office was one of the perks. It's like our office has like foosball tables and like, kombucha unlimited and all this stuff, right? So it'll be interesting to see what the world will look like as, hiring and perks and all that stuff, so yeah. So, but you guys are all freelancers, entrepreneurs, you own your own business. This is a choice to work from home. So I'd like to hear, because everybody wants to do this. This is like the dream for a lot of people, is just to be able to work from home. But I'd love to hear like, what are the actual challenges, things that come up that I hear a lot when it comes to challenges are distractions, and also loneliness, which is like a real thing to a lot of people.
But how long we got? Because this list is going to be long.
We got all day. No,
let me check out
the one thing.
That's 45 minutes. Thanks.
The one thing I found, which I I worked with a mindset coach like years ago for this, because I was being productive, but I didn't feel like I was being effective, if that makes sense. And I think a lot of other people have mentioned this as well. You know, it's that lacking of human connection that gets difficult. And I'd jump into a bit of a, you know, productive mode, and then I'd jump out of it, and then I'd like do something around the house, and I'd go back and do some work, and then I'd do something else, and then I'd do something else, and then I'd go pick up one of the kids, and then I'd come back to work. And it was quite disjointed. And one of the things that they suggested I do was every morning leave the house and go for a walk, whether it's going up the road and getting a coffee, or whether it's just like, you know, if we're looking after one of our family's dogs at the time or something, just go out for a walk for 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes is up, turn around and go to work. So I'd still come back home, but I would tell myself, I'm right, okay, I'm out, done my walk, I've got my coffee, yeah, whatever. I'm now going to work. And I'd come home, go straight into where I was working, and that's me at work. And it's that subtle like mindset shift that really actually helped me, because it's so difficult to otherwise switch off. But yeah, as a little trick, that definitely framed my mind into being much more healthy, for sure.
So taking breaks, right? Like
I think the thing that helped
stepping away.
The thing that helped me, and I realized, you know, everybody's space is different too. That when I decided I'd just be at home and I'd be working from home and doing that, my original office was a former dining room. You'll notice all of my offices are former rooms of the house. It was a former dining room. It was downstairs, and it was a corner, and it was also to the kitchen and by the front door. So inevitably it'd be like, hey, Dad's on a live stream.
Classic.
Yeah, I have to agree. Having a dedicated space with a closed door that actually is locked right now, so my 5-year-old can't just pounce in, because once I go live, she wants to be a star, is vital. When I first started my business for the first year, I worked from a loft. I worked from the dining room table. I worked with the TV on. And once I figured out that my productivity wasn't really there, it's just too much distraction. I'm kind of like squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. So having the ability this is my space. The only thing I use this room for is to work and shoot video. And that's it. I don't come in here to play games. Nothing else. If I'm going to just like do live video chats with my grandma or something, I go to a different room. This is work. So it's like Dan was saying, I think it was you, Dan, that, you know, it's like going to work. Once I come in here, the mindset is, hello, this is my space for work. That's what we're doing right now. So it does help to have a dedicated space. Absolutely.
Dedicated space. Yeah, it's good.
I can totally
that's
relate
actually
to that.
That's an interesting thing, because where I live, I actually don't have a dedicated space. And I never have done, because, well, I say never have done. I haven't done for about 3 years since our second child came along, because she basically stole my office.
They do that.
But where we live is in West London, right? So I find this a lot of the time, especially when I work with guys and girls from the States. Like you seem to have like these massive houses that you're thinking, oh, it's so small. And I'm thinking it's like 3 times the footprint of my entire house.
True.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
I mean,
my mom has lived in the UK, and their houses have always been quite different from our house. It's absolutely true.
Yeah. I'm in my bedroom right now. You know, it's like true. I have no room at all. But I worked with Quick captioning business last year, and I did some contracting with them. And I actually worked out that they were based in Kansas, for the amount of cost that the houses that I'm in right now. It's a 3-bedroom mid-terrace tiny place. You know, it's like a 10 by 10 garden. It's like tiny. For the same amount of money, I could get a 6-bedroom farm in Kansas, like an actual working farm. Right? And but yeah, it's all relative. But it's the mindset. It's such a difficult thing when you haven't got a dedicated space.
It is. Sure. It takes different tricks, if you will, to get focused.
It does.
So,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Agree. Doc, it's kind of cheating.
After
I have an office. Oh, go ahead, Kev. We'll
I was going to say after leaving the corporate world, the TV world for a while, with me and look at it. You know, I I actually did a vlog called "I'm in Pants" because I realized that I had to, kind of go through the mode of like, okay, I can't just sit around in my sweats and stuff like that. Yeah, I had to mentally kind of like, okay, I'm going to an office to do something. It's not like an extended vacation because at some point, the severance is going to run out. And I think that was a whole mental game to me. But then after I kind of got over that and realized, okay, I can do this, and this is kind of always dressed anyway, so that part wasn't an issue. But yeah, that dedicated space and routines, I think, are an issue. But also just breaking it up. I mean, it's very, very, at least for me, now it's not a big deal working from home and realizing that's my work and that's where I'm going to be. But then once I got over that, it was like, oh, I'd kind of rather be here. I don't know. That's and I do have pants on, by the way.
Oh, glad to hear that.
You realise pants mean something completely different in the UK, because I'm like mentally scarred over here.
That's what I was thinking. I'm just thinking, what is going on? What is that vlog?
Letting it hang out just brought in a whole new meaning.
Must go Google pants now.
What does pants mean?
I've now become a meme.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
Doc says he has an office in the commercial center of his condo, so basically he just goes downstairs, which is, I mean, that's a rare that's a rare opportunity.
Underwear.
That's very good. Yeah, pants or underwear.
That's fine. That's fine too, as long as you stay within the cube of the camera, you're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Video Vogue,
suitable for kids.
Video Vogue.
Rob, I think one of the biggest differences you're going to find as we chat here is like all of us own our own business or freelancers or whatever. So we're motivated by the money that, for the most part, when you get down to it, that pay our bills, right? Yeah. Not the hours it takes to do it. And corporate companies are still so focused. Their culture is about the hours and not the actual work done. And the most successful companies that are out there, that even pre-pandemic, who have had remote success with their workers, are those that say, there's you have as much vacation time as you want. The most, work whenever you want. The most important thing is that the work gets done. And even when I worked in corporate, this is a mindset that I never understood. Like, this is one of the reasons I started my own business. And even when I hire consultants, I'm like, I don't care. You do this when I'm sleeping. You do it from the beach. I care less when you get the work done, as long as it gets done right and it gets done on time. And that's really the shift that I think that the corporate world needs to make in order to find productivity. Because if they're measuring productivity in hours worked, it's going to be a fail, right? They're going to be like, well, this doesn't work. We can't do remote work because no one's getting anything done. But if they actually shift to who's getting work done and the quality of the work that's getting done, no matter if it takes an hour or 6 hours. I'm a very fast worker, so I can get more done. Anyone who's ever seen my content output knows that I can get more done in 1 hour than a lot of people can get done in a day. And that's just who I am. And I know I'm not alone in that. So for me to work in a culture, which I've had to do, where they're like, okay, well, you have to be here from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., but you're done by noon, then you're the employee that's either going to continually ask for more work, which was me, because I can't just sit there pretending I'm working, or you're the employee who's sitting there pretending you're working, wasting the company's time, and the company thinks that you're not wasting their time, or you are miserable and you can't wait to find another job. You're like in a soulless job. And so until these companies can find that shift and really realize that the value of an employee is not the hours worked, but the output, then remote work is always going to show as a negative on the spreadsheet, if you will.
I mean,
that's fire.
Basically.
Now.
That's basically. I mean, all right. Well,
what's the point?
We'll see you guys next week. No, that's really good. Yeah, basically.
Well, even in the articles that you sent, and that's something I had already known, but even in the articles you sent, that was one of the things that people kept bringing up, is that they need to start assessing their employees based off work performance and not the hours worked. And I just think it's so archaic to still be in that mindset, but that's the way most companies run.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like, so kudos to, again, this is just my own personal stuff, but like Thinkific, they had this whole thing where it's like no guilt work from home.
I
Like
love it.
you just work whenever from home. There's always like a Slack call for stand-ups. Tech companies, they do these like weekly or daily stand-ups and stuff. And you just call in, there's a Zoom call. It's like always the same link. Unlimited vacations, all those things, same thing with TubeBuddy. So it is like, I think a lot of companies are realizing that. There was even a study, and I was trying to pull it up while you're talking, Kelly, but it reminded me of I think a study that I was trying to figure out. I thought it was
Oh, I
Sweden.
saw this.
David, I thought it was
Mhm.
Sweden, but I guess it was Iceland. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did this like 4-day
Not the
work
same.
thing. Yeah. Anybody have any thoughts on this, or
Thoughts?
yeah, who has thoughts on this?
I have thoughts. I mean, it's basically what I just said.
Mhm.
How many people worked in corporate, or maybe still do? Maybe you should admit it if you still do. But those of us who used to work in those environments, like you literally, somebody, an employee that you worked with, or maybe it was yourself, who would sit there half the day or half the week with nothing left to do, but not necessarily wanting to add to their plate. And then like pretending to work because that was what is done. Because you
Right.
can't leave at noon just because you're done with your work for the day. So this actually makes sense. And like this, not only it doesn't hurt productivity, but if you think about the operational cost of keeping people in an office,
Yep.
I mean, the productivity is going to go up from the standpoint of it's going to force people to reorganize their days. And then it also gives them 3 days. I always do my best work after taking 3 days off. Right? Like there's just so many reasons why a 4-day work week or performance based work works better for both employees and for the companies.
Yeah.
I tried to do this myself now with my own consulting though, because I now only do consulting work on a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, because I was doing this where I was just like at the beginning, you're hungry, you just need to you'll take whatever clients is the case.
Yeah.
But like now, like the joke is I work on a Thursday and Friday, but I've got it literally in my diary. It says creative days, and really they are just days where me and Dan like had a chat last week, and we was chatting for an hour and a half on a Zoom call. Like to me, that's creative outlet. Being with you guys today, like making time for that is really important. I found for me because of this exact thing. My productivity went down, absolutely down. If I was doing a 1 client on a Monday, 4 on a Thursday, 1 on a Friday, it was just terrible. So it is a smart move, in my opinion, and all of the best people. That's the good thing about having a podcast is you interview all these great people, you nick their ideas. You go, oh, you're so much more productive than I am.
I think one thing
I
that
only work Monday
definitely
through Wednesday is the only time I work with clients. I will not take their calls. I don't even take calls, y'all. You have to schedule to talk to me.
You're
I
the
don't care
boss.
if you're my client or not. It's on my time. Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
I think one thing I definitely learned
awesome.
from my corporate world is, I mean, I don't talk about it a huge amount. I probably should talk about it more, to be fair. I mean, I used to head up like global operations and national operations for like large venture capital and private equity backed businesses. And I mean, I was like the hatchet person, basically. So I'd be the guy that kind of is called in to just basically just plow down all the inefficiencies out of a business. And almost always that was headcount, right? Like almost always, every single time. And honestly, the amount of time that I've actually been into a business, the first thing I do is I look at headcount and team structures and everything. And almost always it's structured around fear and accountability and ego and power grabbing and like the negativity around a lot of the structures and a lot of the problems. It's like it's a massive onion, but most of it is just massively inefficient. I mean, there was one business I worked at where I looked at this one team and there was 27 people in this team. They're reporting to 2 team leads, and I'm like, well, from an efficiency point of view alone, I mean, you had 27 people reporting to 2, which in itself was weird. When you look at lines of communication, if you've got like 14 people, that's 91 lines of communication between 14 people. I mean, it's the most inefficient you could possibly get. I whittled that team from 27 down to 7, and efficiency and effectiveness tripled. Right, but I took out 20 people out of that team. And yes, I was the hatchet person for it, but at the same time, they were sat there half the day twiddling their thumbs, wondering when they're going to get sacked for not doing enough work.
Mhm.
And they've all moved on to, better, more aligned things. And I think that the corporate world is littered with that stuff. The amount of people in corporate world whose job it is to figure out how to do the next job
Mhm.
is, to my mind, amusing, because you could hire a contractor for, yes, a little bit more money, but they'll do a better job in a fraction of the time. But you've got employees on a full-time salary trying to figure out how to do stuff every day. And that's their job. And I'm just like, in many ways, I think the old school approach to hiring and firing and corporate structures and organizational structures, I think it's long dead. That's just everyone's now kind of realizing it.
Well, that's a bit like you saying, Kelly, a bit about you taking an hour. So you said something which massively resonated with me is you do an hour to make the content that most people would take 8. And I think that's because productivity is not, it is that you are a content beast, and I can respect that, but it's that also a thing of you're efficient. And I think that's one of the things that people massively, and when I was in a corporate company, is my boss used to call them paper shufflers, because he'd say, like, you go into these offices that were failing and they would be so busy, I'm so busy. And then you'd go into these offices that were, 8-figure, 9-figure turnovers, and it was just so calm because because people who are efficient get stuff done. They don't, and they get stuff done in tiny amounts of time, because it doesn't take 8 hours to make a video. I mean, depending on what you're doing, but it doesn't take 8 hours to make social media content.
No.
And that's what I'd say. I think that's definitely, and you saying that was like big tick.
I'm going to tell you something that nobody likes to hear. Like, literally is going to piss half the people off that watch this. You're not busy.
Please.
Okay. There's no busy. It's priorities. You're never too busy. It's, you just don't prioritize that. And that's totally fine. What you prioritize is up to you, but you need to get clear on where your priorities lie. I'm dead serious when I say my goal is to work 3 days a week. I actually block my calendar off. I don't work Thursdays and Fridays unless I feel the want to go create a video or whatever. Those are my days to do whatever the hell I want. And I can do that because I have prioritized my kids on those days. So if I want to take my kids to the pool on Thursday, guess what? That's what I'm doing. I prioritize my days based off of what is important to get done on those days. And it's not that, and trust me, nobody can come at me and tell me you're too busy, because I'll give you my sad story. All right. I got plenty to do. The point is that you prioritize. And once you start prioritizing, and you can prioritize per day, per hour, then you're going to get shit done. And once you get shit done, you're going to get it done more efficiently. You're going to get it faster, and you're going to take back your time. And you can either add more work, which means more income or what have you, or you can add more freedom to your life. We often talk about success. What does success look like? Everyone's all like, oh, 6 figures. I'm like, bro, I've been there. Let me tell you what success is. Like being able to go to the beach today. That's success. Like anytime I want. For me, success is I could drop anything and take care of my kid all week. All week, my kid was sick. She got me sick. We took days off. I didn't even stress because I knew that I could get the work done because I prioritized what's important to me at that time. So spare me your I'm busies.
How do you really feel?
Oh, you haven't met me? This is why I come on.
And I mean, we've heard this said before, but I don't care what you do in life in this world. I don't care how much money you make, how much money you want, the exact same amount of time, period. Now, Gary Vee's got a team, but he wakes up every day with 24 hours. And so does Oprah, and so does my neighbor next door, Mark, who you don't know. But we all have this amount of time, and it's how we use it. But I want to go back to something that we were talking about a second ago. I think a lot of times that with corporate world, it comes down to trust. I trusted my team. If I had one of my producers who was a young mom said, "Hey, can I work at home today?" Absolutely. You know what needs to get done. You don't even need to report. We'll know it if the work doesn't get done, right? But then a new up than me came in that I reviewed, and he was a micromanager. It was like, you got a guy sitting at the desk. He's not doing anything. Well, what would you suggest? And it was like this. And then if somebody was working home, how do you know they're actually doing work? Because I trust them, and there's a point where I think that a work week and things like that. Shock. It kind of works for some people. Some people are going to take advantage of it, but those, I think, kind of expose themselves at some point too.
Yeah.
Because whether we're our own our own business owners, or we work for somebody, we have projects we have to do, whether I'm working for a client or I'm creating my. But I absolutely agree. I mean, busy. It is a 4-letter word. I'm really, and in fact, I even hate when people say, "Wow, you must be really busy." Yeah, I'm really busy and get nothing.
Sure,
nothing
anyone
done.
can be
I'd rather
busy.
I'd rather be productive.
Yes.
And like you, I mean, one of the great advantages of owning my own business, working for myself, working out of my home, is our youngest son has special needs. And around anybody with a special needs child, they set the schedule. I mean, kids do too, but special needs do. And so, I've said to my wife many times, it's been a blessing now to be here, because I don't have to worry about, I got to go into my boss and say, okay, I need to be off for a few days and stuff like that. And I can adjust my work around it. And then I hope that people can see that and go, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I really like, that I can adjust the schedule on short notice. Like if I feel like working a Saturday and Sunday, and then it's the good weather on Wednesday, the week after, we can go somewhere and do something. Or if I feel like I didn't get enough sleep and I get up later, because I know then I can be more productive the hours that I actually work that day, instead of forcing myself up a certain time to go to an office and be there for 8 hours. Because sometimes I work 12 hours one day and next day I work 6 hours. So I think it all depends on individuals when you feel like you have the most energy also.
Yeah. As long as you get the work done, right? As long as you get the work done.
I'll tell you, one way I used to actually manage people, and this is something a boss of mine from years and years and years ago, how he used to manage big global teams, and it's something I adopted. And he did a weekly one-to-one, and so every week he'd have a one-to-one with his direct reports. There was never more than 5 direct reports. Again, lines of communication, so look that up if you're ever interested. So anything more than 5 just becomes unmanageable. And so he had direct reports 5 times every week, one-to-ones, and he just went through what he called PPPs, which is he called them plans, progress, and problems. And you'd basically just say, what are you planning on doing this week? What have you got done this week or last week, and any problems to getting everything sorted out. And then he'd just basically not talk to you again unless you needed something until the following week. And that's exactly how I worked. And I remember I implemented this same method in another employer, and it was very hierarchical there. And the CEO at the time was like, yeah, but what? How do you know what everything's getting done? And I'm like, because I've hired them and I trust them to do their job. And if they don't, then obviously we know we've got a problem. And they're like, yeah, but how do you know? I'm like, well, ask me next week. And it's like, yeah, but how do you know? And I was like, I don't fucking have to. It's like, leave
how do
me
you
alone.
not know? That's what I want to know. Like, how do you not know if work's getting done? If you're checking in once a week, that's all it takes. That's the thing. Like, I want to
really
ask
on you, not them. Yeah.
Would you rather have your employees work more hours? Is that the goal? More hours? Or would you rather have the work get done no matter the time it takes? I mean, obviously you don't want it to take longer than necessary, but like if you're, it's mind blowing. Like, how do you not know if the work's going to get done? You're going to find out if the work is not getting done. Like it's going to come to light.
Yeah, it's funny.
I
Like
had people who I had people who did 18-hour days over the weekend and did their entire week's work in the weekend, and they just basically went out partying and doing whatever the hell they wanted in the week. I didn't care because they got the work done. But I had others who militantly clocked on at 10, clocked off at like 8 every single day. And I'm like, okay. But like I said, as long as the work got done, I really didn't care.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
I think it's an appreciation that every human works differently too. Some people are really productive in the morning. I happen to be one of those people that I can get everything done by noon, and then I'm like not useful in the afternoon. But then there's some people who are night owls, and they literally work best 10 o'clock plus, like respect the human and not look at it as like a robotic situation where we're all, typecast into this box.
Yeah, developers, right? They're like, I've seen some developers, they start at like 1, but then they work till like midnight, so that's
Exactly.
just how they roll. Yeah, it's funny, like there's different industries that are very like militant on hours. Like this is what time are you clocking in, what time are you clocking off? Naturally, some businesses obviously is like that, but even like with freelancers are like, they're looking at that hour, and
They
they're
want
like,
the hours.
they want the hours, but like, I forget. It was like a long time ago. Like even when I was at Thinkific, somebody's like, "It's like, well, do you care how long a doctor takes? Like you're going to pay the doctor the same amount of money, whether it takes 2 minutes or like 8 hours.
You're paying them a lot.
You probably prefer the 2 minute, for the same like result, right? You're still going to pay them the same. So, I remember a lot of coaches started using that analogy when they're doing their proposals. So like, I'll get the same amount of work done. Doesn't matter how long, So like what you were saying, Kelly, do you want people to work longer or do you just want the work done?
And want the work done.
Yeah.
And even when I have a mentoring program, and I even tell my students, like, avoid working hourly as much as possible. In fact, if someone wants to work hourly with me, everything I do is pretty much packaged, unless it's literally you get an hour of my time to do consulting or something. What I'll say to them is, okay, well, I am happy to give you hourly, but just know that every 15 minutes, once that 15 minutes comes, you're getting charged an hour.
There you go.
So if I work an hour and 15 minutes, you're getting charged 2 hours.
Like lawyers.
Yeah, dude, seriously. Like, what are you thinking? I can get this done in 1 hour, or you're going to go hire someone who's going to charge you for 6 hours. And it's going to take, just as long, like, especially when you're working with specialists. And in our world, we are all typically specialists. We're being hired for a very specific reason, being a freelancer, a consultant, what have you. So we're going to save you time. Just like if you hire me to build a chatbot, I guarantee you my chatbot won't take as long to build than someone who's just getting started, or that you found because they were cheap or because they work by the hour instead of by the project.
Yeah, it's like
and it's gonna get done the right way. The first time.
The right way.
Yeah. Otherwise, you just come hire me. Like it happens all the time for me to fix the mistakes of other people who work 10 hours to get it done.
Yeah. Exactly.
It can be frustrating, and sometimes that when people push back with you on what the scope of the work is or the price, and they don't really understand it. It's like, well, do you really need to take long? I mean, and stuff like that. And it's like, if I took that mindset when I went into surgery, it's like, well, now, is it really an 8-hour surgery? I mean, do you need to use those? What if you use like the nylon? I read on Google, that maybe glue is better and it's cheaper. Holy crap. I mean, it'd be like, but it's like, because art sometimes for companies, they're like, well, I don't know. My cousin who's got one eye, he can probably do that for $1. No offense to people with one eye, but I just threw that out there.
Well, okay. So, and another thing, like there are a lot of maybe it's just the companies that I'm like interacting with, but a lot of companies now are working with a lot of like you folks, right? Like contractors, and those typically are not hourly arrangements. It's like we want a specific thing done. I forget who I was talking to yesterday. I was talking to another friend in the Philippines. He was working with Spotify to do a specific project, and he wasn't getting paid hourly. He was like, we want you to launch Spotify Philippines, right? And so that was a specific thing, and that was for a specific amount of time, lengthwise. But as long as it was done, just like a contractor, like a construction contractor, it's like, here is the deal. Here's how much we'll pay, and if you do it quicker, then great. Then it's you're going to get a little bit extra money because you don't have to pay your guys as much. If it takes longer, then that's on you as well. So is that how you guys typically price your proposals? Like, here's the project. Whether it takes me less time, great. If I can find a more efficient way to deliver, great. If it takes a little bit more, I have to hire an extra VA or assistant, then that's my problem. Is that how it usually works?
Yeah, I like to know going in what they want and what I think I can do it for. I will not. I just won't talk hourly. I my things in my head that I know that I might want to charge or get to. I think when you start getting to hourly, at least with what I do, is it becomes like this a la carte thing. Well, what if we don't do that and that? And it
Yeah.
kind of
Mm.
it almost it disrespects what I think the needs, for their business or just to grow as a creator, because they're looking at it punch list like, well, maybe I don't need the fancy tile. I'll just go with the laminate or whatever. And so no, I do a package, and there's room for negotiation in but that's how I price.
But the thing is, like, if they opt out of, like, let's say this is this proposal for you is these 10 elements of my services, but if they decide I only want 7, it actually, and you agree to that as a contractor, then the results aren't exactly what they expected, and then now you look bad, right? It's like, oh yeah, I paid Kevin this much.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to get this, but it's like, no, you wanted 7 out of the 10 things I could do. And so,
You just have
sometimes
to
you have
be upfront with the
to be
client
really
before
upfront.
you sign them.
Yeah.
You have to be
Yeah.
upfront. And I think so many, like novice freelancers or contractors, they're afraid. They don't have the confidence to like be straight with their potential clients, say, this is what you need. This is how much it's going to cost. And then if the client's like, well, let's take this out, they just say, I'm happy to do that, but here is the result you can expect. Because it's important for you to deliver your best work. And if you're not going to be able to do your best work, you're obviously going to do your best with what the client will allow. Then the client needs to be aware of that before you sign the contract.
Yeah. I always go with outcome based. With me, it's like it's always outcomes, like always. So a lot of the time people say to me, right, I need to achieve this, 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 and this. And I kind of like rattle off a list of things they want to do. And I'm like, yeah, but what's that going to get you? What's the thing you're actually trying to achieve? And I price based on that outcome. How I achieve it, whether it's, 10 steps, 5 steps, 1,000 steps, like whatever. I just tell them, don't worry about it. That's not for you to worry about. That's for me to worry about. And just charge absolutely on the outcome. Everything else is kind of like by the numbers. There you go.
Outcome.
I mean, I've actually turned down some where people have pitched me on, hey, can we get a proposal? I just didn't think I would, and it's arrogant, I don't mean it this way. I just didn't think I wanted to do the project. It was something I just wasn't interested in. But I pushed back and I said, hey, I can't help you, but let me give you some suggestions. They were going to go out there and then just find, because of this one I'm thinking of, they were asking for just ridiculous stuff that I could see somebody going, oh, well, I can make money on this, 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 and this. I'm like, as you look for somebody, here's some things to think about. At least I wanted to help them. I'm not interested. And to me, that's good business too.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. There's this other article I shared with you guys. It might be a little small here for everyone to read, but I was really shocked when I read this. It says more than 1/3 of the American workforce freelance during COVID-19. It's like over $1.2 trillion into the U.S. economy. I don't know. Anybody else familiar with that or like knew that figure, that it was that big? I didn't realize. I mean,
I think a lot of people did a little side hustle.
Little side hustle, right?
I think there was a growth in side hustle.
I think there'll be more. I think that'll increase. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I've had it, like someone approached me yesterday to be interviewed for like can't say what it is because I haven't got it yet. So I don't look like an idiot if I don't. But they were saying that loads of coaches were inactive now. Coaches and consultants were now, because of COVID, had left. And I was really shocked by that because I thought there was more. I think to me, I don't know if what you guys feel like, but it felt to me like there was more people have gone into this space, gone into freelancing, coaching, consulting because of COVID. I think it's a similar thing to when like 2008, when that all happened. Lots all of a sudden. I know in the UK, new businesses fell, but businesses came from that because they had to. There was no other option.
I think it's been a massive divide. I mean, certainly here in the UK, it's there's been so many people who have come into the space, like especially the online space, but there've also been so many of those people who listen to the wrong people into how to do it. And there's others who have pivoted and all sorts. So whilst there's been a lot who have massively done well during the pandemic, there's also been a lot who have kind of pivoted and then ended up near on bankrupt. And frankly, most of it's just through really, really bad advice. And It's a shame, but that's just the reality of it. There's a lot of snake oil people out there, which is a shame.
Yeah.
That is a shame. I think there's a shirt here. Doc is going to be launching pretty soon. Paid Lancers. Only now.
Paid Lancers.
Paid Lancing for years.
Love
Look at
it.
this guy.
I think
So
another
fun.
thing that could be contributing to an influx of freelancers is anytime where you have, I mean, most people who their last job was, working in corporate or something, they were generally not happy, or they were fired, or something had to happen. I think most people can say, and this is absolutely my story, like, you will live in a miserable world. You will work for a miserable company for so long, simply out of, fear, or you feel like you have to, and you feel like you don't have a lot of choices. And it usually takes something pretty drastic, like being fired. Like, for me, I just had a really great opportunity that my then boyfriend, now husband, lived in a different city and asked me to move with him. So I was able to have that motivation to go look for another job. And I was so miserable, and like to the unhealthy degree. And I think here we had COVID come along, and maybe a lot of people were let go because of this. Maybe they just had realized, like, here is that drastic thing. I need to do something else because I can't go to work because I've got kids at home. There's something that happened that has forced people who maybe had already been thinking, like, I hate my job. I want to own my own business. I want to do my own thing. I want something different. But because it often takes that drastic thing to push you over the edge into a much happier world for most people, that could be a lot of the contribution to that number as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good sort of topic here as well. This hardest part in the US is health insurance.
Yep.
So this is something, again, like, challenges with remote working and freelancing and things like that. On this side, also, Brent, thanks for the comment, but also taxes, right?
Oh,
a lot of people don't realize, oh my gosh, a lot of people are like, oh man, I'm going to make so much money, and, I'm billing this much and stuff. But like, people don't realize, they forget that, when they were in corporate took care of their taxes and remitting all of that stuff. What do you guys do? Let's real talk on, like, do you guys have an accountant? Do you have a bookkeeper? How does that work? I think that's
just
really
ask for
important
cash on
here.
everything, and that way it just takes care of it.
That's cool, yeah.
I actually made a
No.
profit in my first year
No
from
receipt.
my accountant.
Yeah.
I
First thing I did
I
when-
have
and a
it's just not
bookkeeper.
my thing. Yeah. So
Yep.
I keep the records and turn it over, and they tell me, either what we have to do or what I'm going to make or whatever. So
Absolutely. My
The
accountant
hilarious
saves
thing-
me money.
Well, yeah, same as Kelly. I mean, like, the first time I started up my business, like, and straight up, I invested in two things, and I always suggest to clients to do the same thing: a decent accountant, like an actual decent accountant, because there's a lot of bad ones out there, and a decent lawyer. And those are the two things that I spent money on. I didn't spend money on anything else in the first year and a half or so of trading. And the accountant, basically, I've been with them for years now.
Yep.
In the first year alone, they actually made me, or found me, around about $5,000.
That was mine too.
Yeah, it was insane. But they found it because they went through and did almost like a retroactive audit of all of my previous employed roles. And over here in the UK, I don't know what it's like in the States, but you have tax codes under what's called PAYE, which is like pay as you earn. And you're assigned a tax code, and it changes all through different roles and different, kind of bonus payments and all kind of other stuff. So your tax code changes quite regularly as you change jobs and everything.
Yep.
And over different employers and different promotions and everything, my tax code had changed so many times. There was a bunch of mistakes, and I'd actually overpaid tax from years prior. So they actually found me $5,000 in overpaid tax, and I was like, "Oh, so what do I pay tax this year?" And on my first year's trading, they were like, "Nothing." I was like, "What about next year?" Probably nothing, because we've got other stuff we can kind of make it efficient with. And I'm like, "So I'm not paying tax for 2 years?" They're like, "Nope." I was like, "Okay, thanks very much."
I need your accountant.
Interesting. There
And
you go.
her name's Nikki Hageman.
There you go.
She's been
Affiliate.
Bedford, not too far from you.
You got an affiliate link. That's awesome. Exactly. Jeff says he outsources his accounting stuff. Awesome. That's really good. This is a very specific tip, but moved to the Dominican, paid federal tax and take the tax credit. And then let's see, Doc Rock. This is
Any
actually really good.
residency in somewhere in Europe do that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
This is
some
actually
states
really
in
good.
the
This is
United
really
States.
solid advice. Buy group health insurance. So there's things such as group health insurance. Even if you're like an independent contractor, one person company, you can go to a insurance company and then they clump most. I think here in Canada and BC and in the city that I'm in, you can do that. So
You can do that here in the United States as well.
in the US as well. There you go. So yeah, definitely take care of your insurance stuff. That's really important. So yeah,
We
group
get it for free
group
over here.
same thing in the UK.
Very new to us. I'm like, oh,
It's the NHS, so we get it for free, pretty much.
Oh, there you go.
You only go private if you want to.
There you go. Paul Peck. Hey, Paul. Good to see you, man. Says no state tax in Florida.
Pretty sure it's the same in Texas too.
yeah, it's Texas.
Yeah.
Well, all of the people are moving, aren't they? All the celebrities will go into Texas from LA.
For that reason.
Kansas
I
is
live in
super cheap, apparently.
California. I pay so much taxes, it would hurt you to hear it.
Yeah, it's bad over there. They absolutely cripple you for it. Don't they?
It's so rough, you guys. At least 20% of my income goes out the window, like taxes. It's
Is that it?
rough.
I think we
Yeah,
have
man.
even more.
I think that's just state, though, isn't it? Then you got federal as well. Is that right?
Yeah,
You
and I have to live here because my husband builds spaceships for Richard Branson, so we're kind of stuck here for a while.
Oh, what?
He's,
There's other people who can.
he's literally a rocket scientist, isn't he?
Something.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So Texas and Nevada. All right.
There you go.
All right. Perfect. Let's see. Let me just scroll through some of these comments. There's some like good stuff happening in the comments here as well. Brand says side hustle is the way. Man, Doc has been here as well. Doc, good morning.
Yeah, why isn't Doc on this live show?
I know. I sent him the
Come on,
link.
Doc.
I think
He's got
half
bed
asleep.
hair.
Half asleep still, but he's been dropping some bombs in here. So let's see here. It says Big Poppy got paid millions to take 3 to 4 at bats at a game and eat sunflower seeds. All right, awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, so okay, I'm gonna go through the comments, but yeah, I mean, so let's close up the insurance. Who else? What else? What other things do you need as a freelancer? Insurance. You need an insurance person, a lawyer, and an accountant. Any other key players on your remote working team?
I'll
Professionals.
tell you one thing to avoid.
Okay.
Avoid asking too many questions in Facebook groups. And I genuinely mean that. There's a lot of people who ask questions in Facebook groups, and it's always like a pandemic where you'll get answers from people whose intent is to help, but they're helping from opinion rather than experience.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So keep a mind of that. So when you get an answer, listen to the ones based from experience, not the ones based from opinion, because a lot of people don't know the difference.
Oh,
Yeah.
really quick question then on the
I've come to a theory that I
Go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
feel like the Facebook groups have become the new Google. It's just like it's not to go to Google and research something. I mean, it's really not. It starts with a G and ends with Oogle, and it's pretty easy. And people will go to the Facebook group and go, how do I? And all of these people will, and it's like, dude, don't can I just use any music in my video and be okay? I think it sounds okay, thank you. And I'm like,
You should probably Google that.
Stop it. Yeah. So I agree with Dan. It's just like, holy. I mean, it's like, ooh, there's maybe a video I can make on that because people are asking. But at the same time, it's like, dude, just do your work.
Just look it up.
See, I got a theory on that. I think Facebook groups are a lot. Certainly during the pandemic, it's like a slight sidebar, but I think they were being used more as procrastination tools than they were research tools. It was just like, I asked the question because if I do that and I'm going to sit here for about 25 minutes, I'm going to read loads of answers, I'm going to connect, I'm going to engage with my audience, and I'm not going to do this thing over here that I actually need to do. But it's okay because I've built relationships.
I think it's going back to the loneliness almost. Like people just want to connect and like feel like.
Well, then they should join a mentorship program, a mastermind, somewhere where you're actually going to get good answers. You're going to get support that you need. You're going to get community, like that human touch. Like do something good for yourself. Procrastinating in a Facebook group's not it.
But it's community.
Hire me. I'll just give you a shortcut.
Well, it's like the right type of people that you're in a community with. I think that's the thing. I hate Facebook groups so much. Like I've built a couple for clients. I've tried all myself, but I just always find that 99%, unless you build it yourself from your content, like if you're a content creator, like I know you got one, Kelly, it does well. Like, is that like if you've got one and you build a community and it works, it's brilliant. But the generic, free, here we are all together as one, it's just terrible. They're just terrible. And I just think that, like you said, they actually, they say you are the 5 people you surround yourself by, like you're just surrounding yourself with morons in that space. Whereas you're better off being like actually finding people out. The best thing, podcast, get people on the show, you meet people you like, and then you stay in touch with them. Or interviewing, live streaming, something you start to make connections that way. And then you guys all here, we all have the same experiences, the same backgrounds. It's iron sharpens iron. Instead of some guy coming on going, I don't know why my Facebook's not loading my video, and you're like, oh, okay, this is a bit different. So yeah, I'm not a fan.
So Ash, when you and I had,
but Ash, thanks for the idea. I'm going to start a group.
You're going to be
called a
yourself
bunch of morons. I appreciate that.
You just get loads of them. Sorry, Dan, what were you saying?
That's what I was talking about. This is you being yourself on video.
Oh, terrible.
That's going to be repurposed into a shorts very soon. This line right there.
Oh, you'll get me in trouble. I've got my only viral TikTok.
Yeah,
was me
exactly.
taking a clip from my podcast, which was just stupidly clipped, where I said,
that's how I feel.
It doesn't take 10,000 hours to master something. You can do it in like 10. And that's what I said, but it was aimed completely out of context. And I had everyone going like, my phone was just going bing, 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 and I was like, I've done something good. And I was like, no, I really haven't. I've done something very bad.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay, sounds good. All right, we are out of time, everyone. So this has been really, really good. Learned a lot of things here. So you need to make sure. I think the main takeaway here is like, make sure you have all of those key players helping you out. The lawyer, the coach, as Doc was saying here, coach and a VA as well. Those would be nice, but very helpful. But the necessities are, what is it? The lawyer, the accountant, and insurance if you're doing any remote work. Any parting words from everyone here before we wrap up for the weekend?
Doc wants me to plug that I'm on.
Of course there is. Let's go backwards.
Does Rob have a coach?
I do not have a coach. No.
Coaches are legit, man. You will double your income with a coach. A good coach.
A good coach.
So
is it a general business coach? What kind of coaches do you guys have?
For me, it's a business coach. Like every time I hire a business coach, my business explodes. It just gets your mind right.
Do you know, I've got a theory about this. And because obviously that's the kind of thing I do. People don't like this, right? And a lot of business owners, they don't like to admit it. But in hiring a business coach, if you think about it, you're basically hiring someone to kick you in the arse and manage you.
It's true, though.
Yeah,
it's absolutely true. Because a good business coach is going to force you to come up with your own answers. They're not going to tell you what to do. That's a consultant. So if you ever hire someone as a coach, but they tell you what to do, that's not a coach. That's a consultant. A good coach will make it will be painful. Trust me, it is a painful process because. And here's my last word that you were asking for, which ties directly into this, is that you have to be honest with yourself. That goes to, am I wasting time in this Facebook group? What is the intention? Am I really busy or am I prioritizing wrong? So you have to be honest with yourself. And you're right, Dan. It's like the coach is going to painfully force you to take a look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. And it really does help you to stay focused. And it's not easy to be honest with yourself. So that's my last words. Be honest with yourself.
Be honest with yourself. Awesome. Ash, final words.
I don't really have one, but I thought that was the final word. I think, that was very, very good, Kelly. Well done.
How many? Yeah. How long does it repurpose? How long does it take to repurpose a video? No. Let's go for
no
it.
time at all.
All right, David.
Yeah, I think it's super important what Kelly said with the priorities. Like, I usually set top 3 priorities for every day. Like, what's the most important task? No matter if it's like a 30-minute task or 2-hour task or whatever. And what I've noticed is that I feel so much better also when I know that I focus on the right things rather than working a lot of hours. Because sometimes I can work the whole day, but I still end the work day and I feel stressed because I didn't focus on the right things. So just like taking that time to reflect over how is this gonna help me in my business 6 months from now or 2 years from now, instead of just, yeah, but this is in my calendar right now and I need to do it because it's urgent.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
So
really
helps
good.
me a lot.
Yeah. Prioritize your day. Can't do everything all in one day. Ash, you were supposed to do something here, I guess. Plug in something.
Oh no, I'm on
Classic Doc.
I'm on Doc's show on Saturday, and he's just trying to steal your thunder. That's what he's doing. I'm on Doc's show on the Saturday. I think it is Saturday or Sunday. It's some weird time, but yeah, you can come and see me. Yay.
Always be promoting. There you go.
By the way, I'd like to plug my new Facebook group. I'm going to start after this called a bunch of morons. So if you want to join that, Ash will get the first invite.
Watch it end up being like the most educational group full of the best, smartest people that you have to pay thousands and thousands for.
That would be so funny.
The T-shirts are going to be Iran, which some people misread as Mormon, which will create a whole other movement.
So. A future here.
That's what I do.
That is so funny. That's what I do.
That's
what I do. I guess that's your parting words, Kev, or did you have more?
Yeah, more. No, that's it. I mean, I would say this: if you're in a job now and you're thinking about, can work remote or start my own business or something like that, one of the things I would suggest is, as you have some money, maybe buy some of this maybe you need, whether it's software or a little bit of gear here or there, because it can help if that point and you want to make that jump or the business goes away. It can just help. I mean, that may be weird, but if all of a sudden the money's gone, it may be harder to try and get what you need.
Yeah, there you go. And Dan?
Mine would be just echoing and taking a little bit step further forward what Kelly was saying. Something with my coaching hat on, something I do with clients all the time, and even to the point where it's painful, like she said, is ask why, like all the time. So if you don't have the mentality of not in the frame of mind to hire a coach or be coached, then this all goes into self-awareness as well. So you can do this kind of stuff on your own if you're strong enough and you've got enough will to do it, and just keep on asking yourself why, why am I going to do this thing? Why am I not doing this thing? Okay, well, why? Okay, that's the answer. And then why? Okay, I'm not going to be a dick too much, but why? I promise I'm not like completely trying to wind you up here, but why? And ask why enough times, and you can get eventually to the right answer. And most of the time, it's the answer you don't want to admit. That's what most coaches do. Like, they just continually ask why. And I almost make it into a joke with mine. It's like, Dan, please don't ask me why again. Because I'm going to. I'm going to ask you why. And I want an answer. And they're like, oh, but this is the answer. I was like, and there you have it. That's why.
Yeah, Junaid's saying get those whys in. Get those whys in. And I guess mine would be, if you guys are going to be working remotely, yes, prioritize your time. Also try to make sure you're not overworking, because I think that's one of the easiest things that it just kind of creeps in and you don't realize, like, because it's so easy, and the boundary between like personal life, which is on the other side of this door, and then your work life is so close that sometimes you're like, I'm just going to work a little bit longer. And so make sure you are clocking out, you're spending time with your family and stuff, and like you're having dinner. I remember when I started working remotely, I would miss a lot of dinners because I was like, just a couple more tasks, right? And so eventually you'll get to where Kelly is, where she's only working 3 days a week, but at least to make sure that you are not overworking more than the hours that you're supposed to. So
let me ask you a question, Rob. When was the last time you had a spa day?
Spa day?
I don't even know now.
I get clients that actually schedule in spa days.
Yeah, they haven't been open, but have
a spa day.
Dan, you know what spa means here in the States, right?
So I don't know. Does it
a lot of lost in translation stuff going on today.
Love
it.
Gosh. SPA. Back rub.
Yeah.
Move forward. I'll give you a little bit of back rub. Right there.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, make sure you're all following all of these awesome people. All the links to their channels and everything are in the description. This has been really fun. Love this conversation. Thanks, everyone. This has been
Thanks for
really
having
good.
us on.
So,
For having us.
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, with that, Doc, Janae, Jeff, everyone, Brent, everyone in the chat, it's been awesome seeing all of you. And I'm going to jump in there and say hello. But otherwise, we'll see you guys all next week. Enjoy your weekends.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.